Oh, that takes me back to my student days. I used to have a pair of corduroy dungarees.
Were you saying it's old-fashioned, Carol?
Naga, the things you say to me.
No, I'm just trying to see if you've got an opinion on corduroy. You know, like a corduroy suit or something. Would you don a corduroy suit?
Maybe not a corduroy suit, but they do say that if you keep something long enough, it does come back into fashion.
Well, there you go. See, that's what you wanted to say. So, Carol,
what you wanted to say,
this takes us nicely to our next guest, Rufus Sewell. Morning to you, Rufus.
Good morning. You didn't even know it was corduroy.
I did notice. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to
that was
embarrass
kind
you.
of you not to mention it.
It's very now corduroy. It's coming right back.
Well,
that's what everyone says.
Two different opinions.
Yeah. That's all that matters. You didn't come here to talk about corduroy.
I actually did.
Did you?
Yes.
I'm happy to do that more if you like.
Do you buy a lot of corduroy?
I do not, and I will definitely not after this mauling I'm taking this morning.
Come on.
I think it's gone very well. Isn't it better to be talked about than not talked about? That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that. Rufus has come here to talk about your new drama, which is Agatha Christie.
Yes, The Pale Horse.
Tell us a little bit. Do you want to set it up for us? What is this setup and who do you play?
It's actually, unlike a lot of Agatha Christie's, it's quite late. It was written in the 60s. So it's a period that you don't normally associate with Agatha Christie. And it's kind of Dennis Wheatley inspired. And it's kind of about witches. It's a bit more of a horror than you would normally expect.
Well, it's spooky, and I think your character is quite aloof and kind of quite superior and thinks that, you know, kind of dismisses certain traditions out of hand.
Exactly.
But it is quite nice. And you are a character that needs some comeuppance as well, because you're not very nice to your wife. But then you get a little bit spooked, and we can show that moment.
OK. My name's Mark Easterbrook.
I do.
Do you know my name?
Should we?
How about Jessie Davis? Miss Jessie Davis. Do you know her?
I don't think so.
I think she came here. Maybe to see you?
Lots of people come to see us at the Pale Horse. You'd be surprised.
Teresa thinks she wants something from us.
Me? No, I'm not superstitious, so... It's more for children and neurotic old maids, isn't it? No, I'm a rational man.
A master of the universe.
We're all rational when the sun's shining. Different when it goes dark.
There's a girl standing next to you. A girl with a red handbag. And she's gone. Shy.
Different when it goes dark. Those are foreboding words, aren't they?
They are indeed.
From the three ladies. Is that
Three
the moment when your
strange
character
ladies.
starts to think, hello, something going on
That's when
here?
I start to think. That's when I start to think, hello. Exactly. Yeah, no, there's quite a few hello moments. And then in the second, because it's two parts,
I've only seen part one.
Yeah, part two is really wild. When I read it, it's like a cross between, because of when it's set, like a cross between A Single Man, Jacob's Ladder, The Wicker Man, and maybe Macbeth.
That's creepy.
It's really, it's not going where you expect at all. So when I read it, I was like, OK, I guess I'm doing this.
Because I think that is the point where you just decide, right, I've got to open my mind up. I mean, there was someone you dismissed completely out of hand earlier on, and you actually end up going to him for help.
Yes.
Or at least collaboration.
Yeah,
as well.
and he's like a part of a certain part of society. He's really closed off. He's really kind of like one of the people who benefits from the way society is set up. He's rich, he's got the car, the women, all that. But he's trying to make it look really good, because inside there's something broken. Something terrible happened to him that kind of split him. So there's all this kind of poison inside.
Do you like creepy films?
I do, if they're good.
Do you?
You know, I'm not like a creepy film fan necessarily. I like
Well, that's not for you to judge.
Yeah, well... No, I might be a creepy person, but not necessarily.
I'm always fascinated by detectives in these things, and of course you have Sean Pertwee on your tail in this, and I have to say, instinctively, I think we can see a bit of him now, so have a look. Have a look at this.
It's coming.
Is it?
Oh, Mr. Easterbrook.
Yes.
Detective Inspector Stanley Lejeune. Do you two know each other?
No, not at all.
But you know each other's names? Mark Easterbrook and Zachariah Osborne?
No. What is this? Why am I here?
A woman's body was discovered this morning. We believe you had a connection to her.
To Jessie, because of her list.
Oh, would you mind taking Mr. Osborne home for a nice sweet cup of tea for the shock? Thank you for your time.
Who's Jessie? What list?
Miss Jessie Davis. Yeah, found dead this morning, nothing suspect. Had a fever. Left the house for some reason, but... well, she carked it.
Well, that's very sad, but I don't know what it's got to do with me. I didn't know her.
But she knew you.
Well, he is a detective I definitely do not want on my, looking into my background.
Exactly.
Do you know Sean from way back?
I do, from the old days.
I was thinking you must have acted on many things. I mean, is that hard when you have a scene like that and you know someone so well?
No, it was lovely. It was a real... I really enjoyed my scenes working with him. We'd worked in the same thing together years before, but we didn't work together. He was playing a street thug and I was a telephone sex pest in a film, look it up, guys, called Dirty Weekend. Many, many years ago. You're looking it up now.
You're actually looking it up now.
Michael Winner's Dirty Weekend.
But there's something very menacing about that delivery, the way he delivers everything.
As he says later on in the film, he's like a junkyard dog. When he gets a scent, he doesn't let go. And it's, to my character, is like kind of bewildering. He doesn't know why. So because there's a list of names that's found in a dead woman's shoe that Mark Easterbrook's name is on, but he also appears, so he's worried that he's going to be killed or whatever is causing these deaths, and he also seems to be a suspect, so he ends up trying to solve it himself.
Dirty Weekend was banned from video release for 2 years for violent and sexual content. I bet if you watched it now, because it was 1993, wouldn't...
No, I don't think that's necessarily true. My main memory of that is being hammered to death in my bed. With a rubber hammer.
So when you're...
And Michael Winner's homemade brain and blood mixture that he'd cooked up at home, spooning it onto my head on a hot summer's day in Ladbroke Grove in a basement.
What was it made of?
It was the glamour of showbiz.
What was it made of? What was the brain and blood mixture made of?
I don't, all I know is he was especially proud of it. It was like his version of marmalade.
So when you're told by the director, like, your inner motivation for being hammered to death by a rubber hammer.
It's that my motivation is it was my first film and I was terribly excited about it, And I'd heard that they were filming in New York.
Did you and Sean laugh about it when you saw each other on set?
But we didn't talk about it this time, but, I'd forgotten about it, actually. But we had a lot to laugh about. I mean, I hadn't seen him in a really long time.
Should we talk about Judy?
Yes.
Because you were in that with Renee Zellweger. You played her second husband.
That's right.
He's doing really well in terms of, like, recognition. Really well. Does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't, actually. When I read it, because I knew that she was playing the part, and I read it. It's such an amazing script, but also she'd kind of been away from the spotlight for a while. I'd always been a fan of hers. She'd been treated a certain way in the press, and a lot of kind of prurience and people going on about various things. So when I read it, I felt really excited for her. It just felt like a comeback, and also I kind of could imagine how good she was going to be. So it was really exciting reading it. And then when
a real powerhouse performance.
Oh, it's incredible.
Her,
she was even better than I imagined. But I did get a flash. I thought she'll at least be nominated for this when I read it. And I'll be nearby,
How impressive is she as an actor?
Well, when people are really amazing, it's almost less impressive because you just believe them. It's like being with humans. You don't meet people and go, oh my God, what a convincing Tesco's, work or whatever. People just are the way they are and you accept it. And it's the same, I find, with really, really good actors, is that you don't actually question it. And sometimes brilliant acting goes unnoticed for that reason. So when I spent an afternoon just chatting with this really nice, slightly obstreperous lady, and that was Judy Garland, and I believe, because I got to know her kind of as Judy Garland before. Really, at the premiere was the first time I'd met Renee Zellweger without any vestiges of that. I met her in character the day before, and then we did this scene, and I spent the day very easy, very fun, and I didn't realise that the way she was being wasn't quite Renee Zellweger, because it was a bit of a mixture of the two, even between takes. But it makes it easier that way, because you don't have any other impressions to kind of tamp down in your head, just very believable. But she's amazing, really amazing.
Lovely to see you this morning.
Nice to see you too.
Corduroy suit and all, and I think it's worked magnificently.
Thank you.
Can I just say that?
May I say something about it?
Yeah.
It matches your eyes beautifully. Well thought out. Good wardrobe.
I'm suspicious. Is that that's not going anywhere?
Come on.
Do the suspicious face for us.
That is my suspicious face.
The Agatha Christie suspicious face.
No, not unless you can pay my fee.
You can't turn it on. You can't turn it on.
Can't afford me.
Lovely seeing you this morning.
The Pale Horse with Rufus Sewell is on BBC One in February. It's a two-parter.
We'll be back in a few